Emotional strength is not something you're born with. It's not talent, it's not genetics, it's not destiny. It's construction. It's the direct result of the choices you make every day, especially the things you tolerate, repeat, and normalize. But here's the problem. Most people lose emotional strength not because they do something dramatic, but because they carry silent habits that drain them little by little. Habits so common that they seem harmless. But over time, they weaken your confidence, reduce your clarity, destabilize your mind, and turn you into someone emotionally vulnerable, easily shaken, and mentally fragile. Today, you're going to clearly see the habits that destroy your emotional strength. Not to feel guilty, but to awaken. Because when you remove these patterns, your mind changes, your emotions change, your life changes. Let's go straight to the point. Habit 1. Depending on others to feel secure. Emotional strength begins where emotional dependence ends. When your peace depends on what someone does, says, feels, or thinks about you, your mind lives in a state of alert. You become insecure, needing approval, afraid of losing someone, afraid of rejection. This destroys your stability because it places you in a fragile position. Your identity stops belonging to you. You start defining yourself based on others' reactions. Emotionally strong people create their own internal foundation. They value connections, but they don't rely on them to exist. When you learn to validate yourself, support yourself, choose yourself, you build a strength no one can take away. Habit 2. Running from discomfort all the time. Avoiding discomfort feels natural, but when it becomes a pattern, you become emotionally weak. The person who avoids difficult conversations, delays uncomfortable decisions, distracts themselves so they don't feel, and seeks instant pleasure to escape tension, this person weakens their own mind. Growth only happens in discomfort. Maturity only comes through facing things. Every situation you avoid sends the message, "I can't handle this," and that message destroys your confidence. Emotional strength is built exactly in the moment you stay, even when you feel uncomfortable. Habit 3. Blaming yourself for feeling negative emotions. Most people suffer more from judging their emotions than from the emotions themselves. You feel sadness and think, "I shouldn't feel this." You feel fear and think, "I'm weak." You feel jealousy, insecurity, anger, anxiety, and instantly assume there's something wrong with you. This destroys your emotional strength because it turns you into your own enemy. You hide emotions, deny feelings, suppress what should be understood. Emotionally strong people don't blame themselves for feeling. They observe, interpret, and learn. Emotions are never the problem. The problem is punishing yourself for having them. Habit 4. Giving your worth to other people's opinions. Nothing destroys self-esteem faster than believing your worth depends on external approval. When you let criticism crush you, or a comment ruin your day, or someone's opinion paralyze you, you hand your emotional power to anyone around you. That makes you unstable because the world will never stop having opinions. Strong people understand that opinions are reflections of someone's perspective, not absolute truth. Criticism says more about who criticizes than about who receives. When you learn to filter what actually matters, nothing controls you. Habit 5. Acting impulsively. Impulse is one of the biggest thieves of emotional strength. When you react without thinking, explode, respond aggressively, make decisions instantly, act in the heat of emotion, you always regret it afterward, and repeated regret destroys stability. Impulsive people live on an emotional roller coaster. Emotional strength comes from the pause, the gap, the ability to feel without drowning, to think without freezing, to act without self-destruction. Controlling impulse is not about not feeling, it's about choosing before acting. It is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. Habit 6. Consuming stimuli that weaken your mind. A strong mind depends on what you feed it. When you constantly consume gossip, comparison, negativity, drama, toxic news, draining conversations, chaotic environments, your emotional strength collapses. The mind absorbs, it records, it repeats, it shapes itself according to what you feed it. You cannot be stable if you live surrounded by chaos. Emotionally strong people protect their mental input. They filter what they allow to enter. They understand that what you consume becomes what you feel, and what you feel becomes your emotional reality. Habit 7. Abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. This may be the most destructive habit of all. When you always bend, always adapt, always agree, always swallow your needs to avoid conflict, please people, maintain relationships, or preserve harmony, you destroy your emotional strength piece by piece. Every time you put yourself last, your mind learns that you don't matter, that your needs can wait, that your limits are irrelevant. Nothing weakens a person more than abandoning themselves. Strong people understand that loving others doesn't mean losing themselves. They set boundaries, they stand firm, they protect their identity. They know no one deserves their destruction as a gesture of affection. Emotional strength is not a rare talent. It's built when you remove the habits that silently weaken you, when you stop depending on others to feel secure, when you face discomfort, when you accept your emotions instead of condemning them, when you filter opinions, when you control impulse, when you protect your mind from harmful stimuli, when you stop abandoning yourself. Every one of these changes creates a mind that is firmer, more stable, more resilient, more prepared for real life. The truth is simple. There is no perfect emotional strength, only emotional strength that is built. And it starts now with the decision to stop feeding what is destroying you from the inside.